I don't know how it happened. One second I was laughing at a dumb joke he made about my dating life, and the next his mouth was on mine. Soft. Slow. Certain. I didn't pull away. That's the part one keep replaying, not just the kiss but my reaction. The stillness in my body, the rush in my chest, the strange warmth crawling up my neck like I'd been waiting for it without knowing. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. I just let it happen. Because it was him. Jesse. My brother's boyfriend. Jesse, who everyone believed was gay, especially me. He was the one I undressed in front of without thinking, changed clothes around like he was just another one of my girlfriends. I'd let him see me crying in the middle of the night, wearing nothing but one of my brother's old t-shirts. I'd curl up next to him on the couch, legs tangled, skin brushing, warmth shared, and never once wondered if I should be careful. Because he was safe. He was Jesse. Until that night. We were alone in the house. My brother had run out to grab pizza. I was tired, frustrated, maybe a little buzzed from the wine I poured too generously. I was complaining again about the latest guy who didn't text back. I remember saying something like, maybe I should just date women, and Jesse laughed, leaned back, looked at me sideways, and said, or maybe you've just been looking in the wrong direction. Then silence. That kind of pause where everything slows down, breath, thought, time itself. His eyes dropped to my mouth like it wasn't even a choice, like gravity was in control. I whispered, what are you doing? He didn't answer. He kissed me instead. And now? I can't stop thinking about it. About him. About how safe I thought he was. I was wrong. And I think I want to be wrong again. Looking back, the signs were there, not that he was pretending, but that something deeper was always brewing beneath the surface. I just never let myself question it. Jesse was my person. Before he dated my brother, he was already around. Part of our circle. The kind of guy who always offered to walk me to my car at night, who never missed my birthday, who made me playlists that somehow matched my moods better than I could explain them myself. I trusted him with things I never told anyone. The stuff I hated about my body. The secrets I kept even from my best friends. I let him see the real me, the raw, unfiltered, crying on the bathroom floor version. Because I thought I was safe. Because I was sure he didn't want me. I used to tease him when I changed clothes around him. Sorry for the show, I'd say with a wink, already half in a tank top. He'd roll his eyes, toss a pillow at me, call me a drama queen. Not once did he look at me like I was anything other than his buddy's messy sister. At least, I thought. I'd hug him in my pajamas, sleep beside him on movie nights, legs tucked under his, arms thrown across his chest like a lazy cat. One night I even climbed into the shower while he brushed his teeth at the sink. I didn't even think about it. That's how much I trusted him. That's how much power I gave him. Now it scares me a little, how easily he slipped past all my defenses just by wearing the right mask. By staying quiet. By being patient. Because that kiss? It didn't feel like a discovery. It felt like a decision. Like something he'd wanted for a long time. And the craziest part? When I looked into his eyes after, it didn't feel wrong. It felt inevitable. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with the memory of his kiss pressing against my lips like a ghost, warm, real, impossible. I kept replaying it, over and over, until I couldn't tell if it had really happened or if my imagination had taken the wheel. The guilt should have crushed me. My brother's boyfriend. My friend. The one person I should never want. But guilt wasn't what kept me awake. It was the way Jesse looked at me just before he pulled away, not like he was sorry, not like it was a mistake, but like he'd finally let himself breathe after years of holding his breath. I got my answer at 2:14 a.m. A text. I'm not who you think I am. I stared at the screen, heart thudding so loud it felt like it echoed in the room. I didn't know what to say. I just typed back. Then tell me who you are. The 3 dots appeared instantly. Then disappeared. Then came back. He was typing. Pausing. Thinking. Finally. I'm not gay. I've never been gay. I only said I was because it was the only way I could be near you. I dropped the phone. My chest tightened like I couldn't breathe. My entire history with him tilted sideways in my head. Every moment we'd shared suddenly rewritten. I thought about all the times I'd leaned against him in nothing but a towel. The way he always seemed to sit too close, listen too intently. The way he knew every inch of me. Not just the surface but the shadows. Was it all a lie? Or was it something more complicated, more dangerous? He sent another message. I know I crossed a line. But I've wanted you for years. and I can't pretend anymore. I should have been furious, but all I could think about was the way his hands felt on my waist, the quiet hunger behind his kiss, the tension in his shoulders when he pulled away like it killed him to stop. I should have been scared, but all I felt was heat. The next morning the world felt different, brighter somehow, or maybe just more awake, like my skin could feel the air in ways it never had before. I moved through the kitchen like I was inside someone else's body, every step heavy with memory. He'd kissed me and told me everything. I made coffee with shaking hands, still not sure what I wanted more, to see him again, or to never face him at all. But Jesse made the choice for me. He showed up at the back door like he always did, 2 iced coffees in hand, that familiar half-smile on his face. Casual, like we hadn't detonated something sacred the night before. But when our eyes met, everything underneath that calm exterior flickered. I felt it. In my throat, my spine, deep in my stomach. A silence stretched between us as I took the coffee from him, our fingers brushing. It burned more than the drink. I shouldn't have, he said softly. I looked up. Then why did you? His jaw tensed. He looked away then back. Because I couldn't keep lying. Not to you. Not to myself. There was a pause, heavy and trembling. I used to think it was just a crush, he went on, voice lower. But then I started planning my life around yours. I memorized your favorite candle scent. I pretended I liked shows I hated just so I could talk to you about them. I listened when you cried about men who didn't deserve to touch you. His eyes found mine. And there was no mask this time. I wasn't pretending to be gay to hurt anyone. I just couldn't find another way to be close to you. It was too much. Too honest. Too exposed. I backed up until the counter stopped me. My heart was pounding in my ears. You're with my brother, I whispered. What does that even mean? He stepped closer. I'm not with him. It's not real. He knows it. I know it. I think you always knew it too. My breath caught. As maybe I had. Maybe the way Jesse looked at me, not my brother, was something I'd felt for years but never admitted. I should have told him to leave. Instead I asked, why now? His answer was simple. Because last night when I kissed you, you didn't stop me. And that truth, that terrifying, thrilling truth, was still humming in my chest. I wish I could say I was strong. That I pushed him away, told him to go, reminded him that this was wrong. That we were standing on dangerous ground. Him, my brother's boyfriend. Me, the girl who should have known better. But that's not what happened. Instead, I let the silence swell. I let him get close, too close. I stood there as his breath brushed against my skin, as his eyes searched mine like he was waiting for permission. And the truth is, I didn't want him to stop. He didn't touch me. Not yet. But something in the room shifted, thickened. His presence pulled at me like gravity, like heat, like music you don't want to admit you're dancing to. I looked up at him and whispered, I don't know who I am around you anymore. He smiled, but it was bittersweet. Maybe you've always been yourself with me. That's why this feels so. He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Because I felt it too, the electricity, the ache, the weight of all the things we buried under years of pretend safety. I used to lie next to you just to feel your skin, he said, barely audible. You'd fall asleep with your leg over mine, your hand on my chest, and I'd close my eyes and pretend I wasn't burning inside. I pressed my lips together, throat tight. I thought I was safe, I whispered. He leaned in, not touching, just close enough to steal the air from my lungs. You never were. You just thought you were. I don't know who moved first. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was me. But suddenly, my back was against the counter and his hands were braced on either side of me, caging me in without touching. Our foreheads almost touching. His breath warm and ragged. My heart thundering so loud I was sure he could hear it. His voice was barely a breath. Tell me to stop. I didn't. Because I couldn't. Because every inch of me was reaching toward him like I'd spent years denying the only thing that ever felt inevitable. When he finally touched me, it wasn't rushed. It was reverent. His fingertips brushed my jaw like he was memorizing the shape of my hesitation. I leaned into his hand before I could stop myself, my body answering a question my mind was too afraid to ask. I used to dream about this, he murmured, voice thick. About what your skin would feel like if I could touch it without guilt. I couldn't breathe. Because I remembered those nights. those two close sleeps on the couch, the subtle way our bodies found each other in the dark. I remembered thinking his arm felt too warm, too right around my waist. I remembered the way I'd curl into him and pretend it was just comfort, not hunger. Now there was no pretending. His lips found my neck, slow and hesitant at first, like he expected me to pull away. I didn't. Instead, I felt my head tip back, breath caught, heart stuttering, knees softening. The warmth of his mouth sent a shock through me that made my hands clutch at the edge of the counter, just to stay upright. He was so careful, so slow, like he didn't want to scare me away. But I wasn't scared. I was starved. Years of boundaries, rules, and lies unraveled between us in quiet, trembling touches. His hands mapped the curve of my back like they'd belonged there all along. My body answered him in pulses and gasps and instinct. This wasn't some drunken mistake. This wasn't confusion. This was everything we'd never said. Everything we thought we couldn't want blooming between us in heat and silence. When he finally pulled back just an inch, his forehead rested against mine. We were both breathing like we'd run miles. "This can't happen again," I said, barely more than a whisper. But my fingers were still tangled in his shirt. And he hadn't stepped away. And the truth was written all over our skin. It already had. And we both wanted it to. After that afternoon, we didn't talk for 3 days. 3 days of silence stretching between us like a taut wire, humming with tension. My thoughts spiraled. I tried to convince myself it was just the heat of the moment, that it would fade, that we'd both come to our senses. But I couldn't stop remembering the way he looked at me, like he'd finally found the thing he'd been searching for. And I hated myself for how deeply I wanted that look again. Then late one night my phone lit up. It was him. "I can't stop thinking about you. Can I see you?" Just 7 words. But I read them again and again like they held a spell. My pulse jumped. My breath caught. I didn't even hesitate. "Come over." When I opened the door, Jesse didn't say anything at first. He just looked at me. Really looked, like every barrier had fallen away and there was nothing left between us but truth. I stepped back and he came in, closing the door behind him. Everything felt quiet. Sacred. "I shouldn't be here," he said softly. "But you are," I replied. And then I kissed him. There was no hesitation this time, no guilt, no pretending. Just need, thick and full and unspoken, guiding every movement. Our bodies remembered what our minds tried to forget. He touched me like I was the only thing he'd ever wanted. I held him like I was afraid he'd disappear. When it was over, we lay tangled on the couch, my cheek on his chest, listening to the echo of our breath. I should have felt wrecked. I should have felt ashamed. But all I felt was full. Like for once I wasn't pretending either. He ran his fingers through my hair and whispered, "I don't want to lie anymore." I looked up at him. "Then don't." Outside, the world went on. My brother still didn't know. The rules we broke still hung in the air like smoke. But in that moment we didn't care. Because for once the truth felt better than the lie. And sometimes the most dangerous thing is finally getting exactly what you want.